Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we have another piercing pet peeves video for you guys. As you can tell by the title, this is going to be all about nose piercing pet peeves. If you guys haven't already seen, I did do a video for tongue piercing pet peeves, and I also did an ear piercing pet peeves video, and a lot of you wanted to know what my pet peeves were for nose piercing, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I once again made a little list, and as always, if there is something that you want to add to this list or something that you want to include, make sure you do so down in the comments, and let's go ahead and just kick this off and get started. So I don't know if any of you guys can tell, but I have a total of 4 nose piercings. I have 2 on this side, I have 1 on this side, and I also have my septum pierce. So I have a lot of metal going on in a very small area, so I have definitely dealt with my fair share of nuisances and annoyances and obnoxious times with nose piercings that I figured I could make a whole video on, because as much as I love my piercings, man, do they piss me off every once in a while. So the very first thing that I want to include in this video is doing your makeup with nose piercings. Now, I'm sure a lot of you who have nose piercings out there or any sort of facial jewelry out there, you guys can relate with me. If you are ever doing your makeup and you have your beauty blender or your foundation brush, it is almost impossible to get around your nose piercing jewelry unless you completely take it out to do your makeup. Or if you do leave it in to do your makeup and you notice a big red circle where the foundation can't reach because you have a nose piercing in the way, hi, I can relate with you on that. Another thing that kind of goes along with that is trying to clean the makeup off at the end of the day. I notice it is very, very hard for me to try to get in there and make sure I'm getting all the makeup off the jewelry, off the skin, everything like that. And I notice every time after I do have to do my makeup, you take your finger after you do your makeup, you lick it, you stick your nose piercing jewelry out, and you gotta do this whole little number where you gotta go, wipe the top of it, get all up in your nose, wipe your septum off to make sure everything is all nice and shiny. Anyone else do that, or is that just me? Because makeup and nose piercings or any sort of other facial piercing in general is extremely annoying. And the second one, again, I'm sure a ton of you can relate to, and I'm gonna show you a little demonstration right now. This drives me up the wall. I cannot stand it. It drives me bonkers every single time. Do I even have to say anything? No? You guys see that? This is what drives me nuts about corkscrew nose studs, is when they hang down like this. Now, it doesn't happen very often because I am one of those people who constantly checks my nose piercing jewelry to make sure that they are in and up and out of the way. But every once in a while, I get one that kind of hangs down on both sides, and holy, does that drive me nuts. So I'm constantly moving them up back into my nose, and then sometimes they don't go all the way, because I notice with corkscrew nose jewelry, I notice it is always freakishly long. So it doesn't matter how much you twist and turn them, they always find a way to sneak back down and hang out your nose. And everyone knows that's not a cute look, it's not a good look. It's weird, it feels funny, it looks bad. Sometimes you have boogers hanging from it. It's not cute, okay? The third pet peeve that I have for this video is not being able to blow your nose properly. Now, if you guys out there have a septum piercing or a nostril piercing or any sort of nose piercing, high nostril piercings, whatever the case may be, and you have ever had a cold, or you just really need to blow your nose, or you have a really big booger up there that you just need to get out, yeah, that almost makes it damn near impossible with nose piercing jewelry. So I find every time I have to blow my nose, it's honestly just way easier for me to just take out all my nose stud jewelry and blow my nose that way, because I feel like all the metal up there kind of blocks everything in, and I just cannot blow my nose properly. My septum piercing, I don't have too much of an issue with it. It's mostly with my nose studs that I have the big issue with, that I just can't blow my nose with. So, you know, every once in a while when I go to take my piercings out to clean them, I will give my nose a really good blow, get everything yucky out of there, and then everything's good to go. The next pet peeve that I have for nose piercings, again, I'm sure a lot of you can relate with, and that is more along the lines of grooming and showering and stuff. But every time you get in the shower, you go to wash your face, you know, you're getting all the makeup off, you're washing the day away, you're ready to start fresh, and you're washing your face and you snag your nose piercing. That is the absolute worst. Or when you are in the shower and you snag your nose piercing just right to the point where it falls out and goes down the drain, there goes your nose piercing jewelry, and then you have to kick ass the rest of the shower to get out to go put your another nose piercing jewelry back in. Like, oh, it is so incredibly frustrating. I can't even tell you how many times that's happened to me. There have been a few times where I have snagged one out all the way and it has fallen, but I was able to catch it really quick and put it back in. But sometimes I'm not always that lucky, so I go through nose studs quite often in my collection just because it is like, those damn things fall out all the time for me. And then another thing is when you get out of the shower and you go to dry your face off and you pull the towel away and your nose piercing is stuck in the towel. How many of you guys have had that happen? Whether that be an eyebrow piercing, a lip piercing, nose piercing especially, or any sort of facial piercing. When you get out of the shower or you're washing your face and you go to dry your face off, you have to be so gentle and so careful. And then two of the last pet peeves that I have for nose piercings kind of go along the lines of septum piercings in general. I do kind of count the septum piercing as part of nose piercings in whole, just because it's like the same area. They are a little bit different as far as getting them pierced and healing and jewelry and all that stuff, but in general it still is a nose piercing, so I figured I would add in a couple of those as well. So the one pet peeve that I have with septum piercings is this. Anyone else have this happen on a constant basis, or is it just me? I'm sure you guys have seen many videos where my septum piercing has done this, and I get a ton of comments saying, oh, your septum piercing was crooked the whole time, yeah, I can relate. That happens to me all the time, especially if I am wearing a horseshoe, which is what this one is, or a curved barbell, or whatever you want to call it. I do notice with my septum clickers, I don't have that big of a problem with it because there isn't that much room for it to move around, so I never have to worry about it being crooked or being at an awkward angle. Whereas with these ones, I have to constantly check it, pull it forward, make sure that it's straight and all that good stuff. Another thing that I cannot stand about septum piercings is putting in the jewelry. Hands down, the septum piercing is by far one of the hardest piercings to change out, to take out, to tighten the balls with, etc. Especially my septum piercing, since I've had it redone, which is about 9 months ago now, which is crazy. I was pierced up really high, whereas the first time I had my septum pierced, it was pierced really low in the cartilage area. So now that it was done correctly, when I go to change my septum piercing, it takes me a solid 20 minutes to do so because it is very difficult to put jewelry up inside your nose and kind of poke around to try to find the hole. Because, you know, it's not like a lobe piercing, it's not like a nose piercing, like a nostril piercing where you can see where the entry is. Literally, your septum is pierced up inside your nose. It is one of the hardest piercings to pierce because you don't get a lot of visual, you know what I'm saying? It's just very hard to see. So when you go to put the septum jewelry in, you really have to take your time and kind of poke around, and once you think you have it, you don't, and your eyes start watering and you have to put your other finger up your nose and try to feel around. It's just a really big process, and then once you do finally get it in, you're not over the hurdle yet because then you have to try to tighten these little fucking balls on, make sure they're tight so they don't fall off, and that alone takes 10 minutes by itself. Okay guys, and that is everything that I have for my nose piercing pet peeves video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, make sure to give a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to go down and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. But as always, I will see you guys very soon in the next one. I love you guys. Bye!